What is going on, Jet fans? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I'd like to get you primed for the New York Jets big day meeting with Mike Williams and go over some Jets free agency contracts that were revealed and their cap hits for not only this year, but for future years as well. As I mentioned, the New York Jets are meeting with Mike Williams today. Supposedly, Williams flew in late last night and is expected to meet with the Jets throughout the day today, with guys like Tyron Smith in on the meetings. Williams would be a really good add for the New York Jets. I understand that there is some injury concern with him. He only played 3 games last year, but he's someone who has been very productive over the course of his career as a number 2 to Keenan Allen. He's had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons. He's had, pushed right around double-digit touchdowns a few times as well in his career. I think he would complement Garrett Wilson well. He's stylistically very different. Garrett Wilson's more of like that finesse route runner, get him the ball in space and let him do his thing with the ball in his hands, where Mike Williams is just put it in the air and I'm going to go up and get the football. Which I think is useful in the red zone, and that's a guy who I think could be productive with Aaron Rodgers. Like it's like a higher end version of what Allen Lazard is at his best. Not last year's Allen Lazard, but like Green Bay, close to 10 touchdowns, Allen Lazard. I think Williams could come in and be, again, a productive number 2 option. Am I expecting him to put up an 1,000-yard season if he signed? No, but could he give the Jets 800 to 900 receiving yards and probably 8 to 12 touchdowns in that range? Yeah, I really think he could if Aaron Rodgers is playing most of the year, because Mike Williams is going to push or allow the Jets to push the ball down the field. He's a good vertical threat. He could go up and high point the football in the red zone. I'm excited about this. And, he's still supposed to meet with the Carolina Panthers later this week, and then also the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we might not get a decision today from Mike Williams. That's obviously TBD. But again, the good news is he's in the building, and comparatively, the Jets are the best situation. It sounds crazy to say that the Jets situation's the best over just about anything, but look at the other 2 spots where he's expected to meet. Carolina, they were a dumpster fire this past year. They had to spend a ton of money in free agency to get some rosterable veterans in here. There's a major question mark at quarterback with Bryce Young. Is there a chance that he develops and takes the next step in year 2? Of course. I'm not saying that Bryce Young's career is written in stone after his first season, but it was a very disappointing season for that team and for Bryce Young in particular. They don't have a first-round pick this year. They are not expected to be very good again this year, so I don't know if signing up for a 1-year deal there would really make the most sense. And then Pittsburgh, they have Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Probably going to be Russell Wilson to start. Justin Fields maybe takes over at some point, but Russell Wilson's not the guy he was earlier in his career and isn't going to spread the ball around a whole lot. So of the 3 spots, if you're looking to have a productive season and to cash in again, the Jets on a 1-year deal makes the most sense out of those 3 teams. Now, the second thing that I wanted to get into today was some details were revealed from the New York Jets contracts, including like cap hits and just how things are structured over the next few years. So the big talking point one was Javon Kinlaw, as he got a 1-year and $7.25 million contract. But when you look at how the Jets structured his contract, they did it so that he has a $2.85 million cap hit in 2024, which is good. I'm glad that his cap number is low for this year. The part that doesn't really move the needle for me is that he has a void year at $4.4 million in 2025. So he will count for $4.4 million against next year's cap, not under contract. And that's a pretty big number. Like, I get it. Yes, to get him in at 2.85 this year, isolate that for 2024. That's good. I thought his contract would be like a 1-year, $3 to $4 million deal. So that's kind of where I was expecting his cap hit to be this year regardless. What I was not expecting was an additional year in 2025 with a $4.4 million cap charge. So I still don't love the contract, but Javon Kinlaw has a chance to hopefully develop and stay healthy with the New York Jets. Issues with health has been something that's plagued him through the early portions of his career in San Francisco. You know that Robert Saleh loves him. The Jets have done a really good job developing defensive linemen. So my fingers are crossed that he has a big year and makes it worth it for the New York Jets. After recording, the details of Tyron Smith's 1 year, $6.5 million deal came out. So it's $6.5 million fully guaranteed, up to $5.75 million in first playtime incentive, and then $6.25 in the second playtime incentive. It goes up by percentage of offensive snaps, $250,000 per playoff win. Nice, a max of $1 million. $500,000 Pro Bowl incentive, max $20 million. So as you could see, it goes by, again, how much more he will get based on how many snaps he plays. I'm hoping it hits 98%, and he's cashing in as much as humanly possible, but interesting breakdown here on his deal. John Simpson's number 2 on this list that I wanted to get into. His $3.21 million cap hit this year is very nice. It looks very palatable. 6.69 in 25, and then a $2.1 million cap hit as a void year in 2026. The more that John Simpson shows his personality on Twitter, and then just in some of the promo videos he's done with the Jets already, I like the guy. I think he's going to be an easy player to root for. There's, as I mentioned with him when he was signed, there are some concerns for me about his game, penalties being one of them, and we'll see if that's something that maybe he could clean up with. I mean, having a freaking Tyron Smith to your left might help you out a little bit. Granted, he's coming from the Baltimore Ravens, who had arguably one of the best offensive lines in football last year, but I'm excited to see him and the rest of this unit together, and that $3.21 million cap hit this year, pretty nice. And even in 2025, the 6.69 for a starting caliber offensive lineman, it's a good value deal. I like that. Considering, by the way, you have to have this caveat that he's going to play like a average starter. I'm not asking him to be an absolute stud. John Simpson doesn't have to be a Pro Bowler. Just hold your own. Be a average, competent left guard. Tyrod Taylor comes in at $2.8 million this year, $6.8 million in 2025, and then a $2.4 million charge in 2026 on a void year. I've said it before. I'm a big fan of Tyrod Taylor. I think this is a good deal for the New York Jets. Really low number in year 1. It jumps up to 6.8 in year 2, which for a backup quarterback is still like, that's what you're going to pay one of the more high-end backup quarterbacks, which is what Tyrod is. Like, let's just be honest, of the backup quarterback options, he's one of the better ones. After it was pretty much known that Gardner Minshew wanted to go to a spot where he could play, like right now he's penciled in as the starter with the Raiders. We'll see if they do anything in the draft. And then you look at where Jacoby Brissett goes. He goes to the New England Patriots. The Patriots likely to draft a rookie quarterback. So you're also going to see Jacoby Brissett probably have a good shot at playing time. The next best available crop was Tyrod and Ryan Tannehill, and the Jets go with Tyrod, surprisingly. And I'll take that surprisingly in a good way. You would have thought that, Ryan Tannehill was someone who probably would have had a really, good connection with this Jets staff. They pretty much brought the entire Tennessee Titans offensive staff over. So I thought that with his connection to a lot of the guys on the offense, he would be the one that they would choose, but I'm glad it was Tyrod. Okay, a few more. Leaky Fotu, 1 year, $2.38 million cap hit. Not much there, no void years. Low number for a guy who's going to be a rotational run stuffing, early down defensive tackle. I'm good with that. The special teamers, Greg Zuerlein, $2.75 million in year 1, $5.65 in year 2. It jumps up. Common theme, the lower number in year 1 and then having it jump up in year 2. Morstead's 2.05 and then 3.05. By the way, like Zuerlein and Morstead, I said it when it was announced, wise decision to pay those guys. You had a great special teams unit last year. Special teams matters. I know it's not something we spend a ton of time talking about, especially with the New York Jets, because they have an elite level defense and they have so many question marks on the offense. All the conversation is how do they go about improving the offense, but Brant Boyer's done a really, really good job with the Jets special teams over the years, and Zuerlein and Morstead have been the Jets' best kicker and punter in a really, really long time. Like, after they had that 1 year of Jason Myers as the kicker, it was a Pro Bowler, but after that they struggled to find a replacement. Zuerlein's come in and done a really good job, and then Thomas Morstead, I mean, they've kind of bounced punters around for a little bit. They had Braden Mann, and before that, they had Lachlan Edwards, right? So both not nearly at the same level as a Thomas Morstead. He was a weapon. Hopefully, he's not punting as much this year. Hopefully, the Jets also aren't settling for as many field goals as they did last year. But I'm glad that they have two quality special teamers. Last but certainly not least, Chuck Clark, $1.83 million, 1-year deal. I think he's going to start for the Jets. I really do. I know there's risk involved with him coming back off an injury. He didn't play last year. Assuming health would be an upgrade over what the Jets had at strong safety last year, I still think they need to add someone else, whether that's bringing Ashton Davis back or just adding another cheap veteran body in here to give you a little bit more depth, because Chuck Clark and Tony Adams, that duo is, I think, going to be good enough for what the Jets want to do, but they need some more depth behind there, because after that it's like Jared Bernard Converse and like that's it. So we'll see if the Jets are active. I wouldn't expect them to spend a ton of money at the safety position, but it wouldn't shock me at all if they bring in another cheap veteran at some point. So there you go. Those are a look at the Jets contracts. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Please subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you next time.